Okay, welcome to Council Committee of the Whole. It's January 15th, 2025, 5 p.m. Addie, would you call the roll?
Cobb.
Here.
Posh.
Here.
Petrus.
Here.
Larson. Here. Kuda.
Here.
Russell. Maddox.
Here, online.
Yeah, Russell's excuse, she had to work tonight. So we have a few minutes, so I thought we could talk about two things before we bring in the first applicant. One is whether or not we want to do this, in executive session or just, and we have done this in executive session, I think traditionally. And the second is, Gail, maybe you could help us go over some of the criteria just to discuss that.
This is what the responsibilities of the planning commission.
Right.
You want me to read that, some of it?
Yeah, read anything you think it'd be good for people watching and good for a refresher for us.
The planning commission is charged with making recommendations to council and the mayor on all matters affecting the physical development of the city. So these recommendations may include making recommendations on plans and maps of the whole or any portion of the city, making recommendations on changes in such plans or maps when it deems it advisable, investigate and propose on its own initiative recommendations for such amendments to the zoning code as it may deem wise and proper. Those are kind of surprising to me because that's normally we see cases coming at them rather than them initiating anything. Investigate and prepare on its own initiative recommendation for the location and design of public parks, parkways, playgrounds, recreational facilities on the park areas in addition to the powers conferred by charter. The planning commission shall have the following powers and duties, which is what I've seen: to review and approve or disapprove an application for conditional use for a particular zoning lot, to determine that a proposed use is not listed or provided for in the zoning code is substantially similar to principal or conditionally permitted use that is listed, to review development plans or conditional uses as required by zoning code, to hear any unresolved complaints concerning any conditional use permits, including those issued by the zoning administrator. Planning commission shall have the power to revoke, modify, or affirm any issued conditional use permits that are subject to unresolved complaints. Do you want me to go on?
No, I think that's a good start.
It's really important stuff.
It's very important. And I think that Petrus and I were at the last planning commission meeting, and there were some very interesting cases. And like, do you have parking and adequate parking? How many people? What are your hours of operation? Do they and depending on what you want to do there, does it comport with our noise ordinances and so on? So yeah, it's of course very important decisions they make, and it is different. Some people conflate a little bit with the Architectural Board of Review, which just looks at design. This goes in much broader areas, like zoning and all the things that go with planning in general. In the operations of businesses. So with that in mind, any discussion about preference for executive session? These are personnel matters. Just toss it out there.
My preference is to go into an executive session, and just in case something comes up that's of a confidential nature. We wouldn't, you typically don't give, you don't have in the private sector, you typically have an interview in private. I think people are more comfortable both answering questions and are being able to ask questions.
Anybody else?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Councilman Maddox?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. In that case, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session to consider the appointment of a public official.
Second.
All right. Andy, you want to call the roll?
Posh.
Yes.
Petrus.
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Cobb.
Aye.
Kuda.
Yes. All right, we're coming out of executive session at 6:25. This meeting is adjourned.